Hello.
Hello.
It's Sunday.
Yay.
Spooky Sunday. So we have Nettie, who is in courtside right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go ahead. Do you have a good Christmas? A nice,
Yeah,
relaxing one?
it was a real good Christmas. Yeah, it was pretty relaxing by the campfire.
That sounds perfect. All right. Let me welcome everybody over here. We have Little Bit Crazy, Thrifty Angela. We have Lucky Dog Productions moderator Sue. Van Life Voyages, K&R Destination, Happy Place Camping, Ford Man, aka Kenneth Oaks. We have, and it scrolled again on me. We have Hitch Up and Tow. Make sure I didn't skip anybody. We have Donald. Hello, hello. Shanna Craft. And I think that's everybody so far. Now, Nettie loves to chat in the chat, but today the internet's a little dicey. So she feels really bad because she likes to chat in the chat with y'all, but. And I also want to give a shout out to Nursing Our Travel Bug. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Sorry I wasn't over there today. It has been a lazy day for me. All right. So today we're going to be doing the Silver Bridge. I think this was Hippies, right? This one that Hippie was talking about.
It was Hippie's idea.
All right. And then Nettie, you have some new videos out, right? If people haven't checked them out yet, you want to tell everybody about those?
Yeah, we actually have a new short that came out. It's actually two new shorts that came out. Yesterday's Meals on Wheels. The best way to dump your RV tank. And we also have our video, our normal video that we put out every Sunday, where we were in Missouri and we met up with BB3. That's out too. Mm-hmm.
So I'll be in one video, and the other one is about my favorite thing, toilet stuff.
Right.
All right. Okay, so I have a fear of bridges. Particularly, there's one near me that I have a fear of that reminds me of the Annie movie. Looks like it's going to open up. And, do you remember on Annie where she climbed that railroad bridge? Because she was trying to that terrified me as a kid. And now there's a bridge my whole life that I've been scared of here in Missouri that's kind of similar to that. So for it doesn't open up and it's not a railroad bridge. So I don't know why I connect the two, but I do. And this bridge looks scary to me also. It looks similar to the one that I'm scared of here in Missouri.
Wow.
Nursing Our Travel Bug, welcome to the room and thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. All right, so this is the deadliest bridge disaster in U.S. history. This is just going to confirm my fears.
Yeah.
Alrighty. The bridge, built in 1928, spanned the Ohio River between Ohio and West Virginia and served 4,000 vehicles a day. That is a big bridge.
Yeah. The Silver Bridge inherited its name from its metallic aluminum paint, but it was notable as well for its distinct design.
It's that terrifying design.
It's a pretty big bridge.
The American Bridge Company, which won the bid for the project, settled on the cheaper method of using eye-bars instead of cables of steel wire, the sort used in famous suspension bridges like the Brooklyn and Golden Gate. Had to go cheap.
Had to go cheap.
Oh, so it's a 2-lane bridge?
It's the 2-lane bridge.
You know, I've been over this. I went over this bridge. I had to close my eyes on it. I remember this when we have had to drive to pick up my middle son. We drove over this, and I was like, we're never going this way again. I recognize it now that I see it. Imagine a big old trucker driving next to, like, you're passing a big old trucker. No.
The eye bars used were long steel plates, 2 inches thick with a 12-inch face, and range from 55 to 44 feet in length. The ends of the eye bars terminated in loops, allowing 11-inch pins to join them to the next eye bar section. It's like a bicycle chain.
So if I haven't been over this bridge, I've been over one that looks exactly like it, which is almost in the same area. I don't know this bridge, but it's one that's just like that, 2 lanes. I think it's the one that Hippie travels on. Hitch Up and Toe said, you drove over this bridge with your eyes shut? No. The 2-lane bridges, I won't drive over them. Bulldog can do that while I close my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you encounter a lot of 2-lane bridges in your travels?
So far, no. Not 2-lane bridges.
I know there's one south when you come into Missouri the way you guys did. But there's like 3 different bridges down south. But one of them is a 2-lane. Yes, please do suspend me with just a bike chain. Yeah, I feel real safe with a bike chain.
Yeah.
They also bore the hanging weight of vertical supports that held up the bridge deck below. While other successful bridges had used eye-bar chain suspension and incorporated many redundancies, at the time, the nearest model to the Silver was a single and now decommissioned bridge in Florianópolis, Brazil. Hey, Nomadic Hippie.
Other eye bar models, like the 3 Sisters in Pittsburgh, constructed at the same time, were shorter and used as many as 8 eye bars in a section. The Silver Bridge only used 2.
What? A shorter one used 8, and the Silver Bridge is much longer and used only 2?
Only 2. Yeah.
This bridge is coming down by the end of this story. This isn't the bridge I went over.
Yeah.
3 Sisters in Pittsburgh. See, they look pretty when you don't have to go on them.
Yeah.
Hitch Up and Toe said, that saved on cost. Is this one mine?
Yeah.
Or yours? Okay. Silver Bridge was dubbed the Gateway to the South. Upon its opening, the residents on both sides appreciated its promise of better commutes and easier traveling. But it also came to be known for its tendency to rock and shake. Oh, no. Hey, Hippie, what is the bridge that crosses over into Missouri down south that's 2-lane. Do you know which one that one is, Hippie? No rocking and shaking when you're on it. Okay, now add a big semi. You're driving past them, and it's rocking and shaking. Tell me you're not going to pee yourself.
Yeah.
No, Hippie, it doesn't have brick on it. It looks like this one does. It's got the metal sides like that, and the stone at the bottom of it is all broken, and you can just see straight through. He said that's 2-lane. I don't remember. I'll have to find out what that one's called.
Mm-hmm.
It looks just like this one, though. Charles P. Vogel, first person to drive across the bridge. That guy, brave soul. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather be the first or the last? I'm thinking first.
I'm thinking middle. Mary Hayrie was a newspaper reporter who wrote articles about the Mothman and was a close friend of John Keel, writer of the Mothman prophecies. They teamed up to interview witnesses of the Mothman.
The Mothman. Happy place. Yes, it's near Sykeston. She said we drove over it when we went to Alabama.
Oh.
Hippie says the ladies that own the Riverboat Museum in Point Pleasant were on the bridge that fateful night, and they wrote a book, and I got a copy of it from her, signed and autographed. I'm trying to give you. Ooh, I can't wait to see that.
Cool.
Mary Hyrie?
Mm-hmm.
Happy Place said, never saw that it had a name. It's very bumpy. If the bridge is shaking and a rocking, don't come a knocking.
Hello, Tommy Travels.
On November 19th, 1967, she told Keel, I had a terrible nightmare. There were a lot of people drowning in the river, and Christmas packages were floating everywhere in the water. Uh-oh.
It's like something awful is going to happen. When Keel returned to Point Pleasant around Thanksgiving 1967, people in the area were having dreams and nightmares about a coming disaster. Virginia Thomas had them about people dying the water of the nearby Ohio River. I think dying in the water.
If the whole town's a dreaming about it, don't drive on the bridge.
Yeah.
John Keel. At 5:05 p.m. on December 15th, 1967, exactly 13 months after the first Mothman sightings, the bridge was full of cars, many of them Christmas shoppers, when suddenly it began to shake. They heard the low moaning of metal and then a loud screech. Ew.
On this cold Friday, a single eye bar, a 55-foot long section of steel, 2 inches thick and 12 inches wide, has suddenly fractured.
There were only 2 on this bridge, right? Isn't that what it was saying?
Yeah, there were 2 bars, I guess, that ran across each.
Ugh. Ah. Terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Charlene Wood was pregnant at the time. She drove home from her job at a hair salon. She was moving at 15 miles per hour as she approached the bridge, which was filled with truckers, commuters, and Christmas shoppers. Charlene Wood.
Now, that bridge right behind her is actually a train bridge. So the one that came down is where she's sitting.
Yeah, I can't believe how similar this looks to the one near Sikeston, Missouri, because the one near Sikeston, Missouri has a train bridge just like that running next to it too. I wonder if the one in Sikeston was modeled off of this one. Happy Place said only 2 inches thick for a bridge that's supposed to support people inside vehicles. Someone was stupid.
As she drove over it, she felt it begin to shake. Wood put her car in reverse and was able to move back a short distance before the rocking of the bridge stalled her car.
Ugh. She was 4 feet away from the precipice.
Yeah, that's good.
I tried. When within 60 seconds, Silver Bridge rocked and collapsed into the river. Jeez Louise.
Crazy, right?
It just looks like, it doesn't look like metal. You know what I mean? Like it looks like wood that just
Crumbled, right?
crumbles. Yeah, it doesn't look like just because you don't see metal bent up like that often.
She was lucky that she was able to put it in reverse. What if there was a car close to her, behind her, and that she was able to do that, you know?
Really lucky. And honestly, I don't think I would think to throw it into reverse.
I probably would have just braked.
Yeah, I'd have been panicked. Thrifty Angela
Yeah.
said she was a smart lady. That's very true.
Yeah.
I think I would freeze and panic.
Salesman Ben Cedar crossed Silver Bridge about 15 minutes before it collapsed, but only reluctantly. I was worried about that bridge every time I crossed over, he said. If you got stuck in the middle of that bridge, it would wave back and forth, back and forth.
I'd be like, can I drive on the railroad bridge instead?
Yeah. Can I take the train? Yeah.
Bill Needham was less lucky. He was driving a truck across the bridge when it collapsed and threw him into the river. He was able to escape from his partially opened window. I didn't know how far I had to go up, he recalled, but I could tell the water kept getting lighter. He used a nearby box as a flotation device and was rescued 15 minutes later. His partner, Robert Toe, didn't make it. Jeez.
That's just insane.
That's just crazy. Look at that truck.
Mm-hmm.
Craziness. The Mothman did it. He jumped on the bridge and started shaking it.
Howard Boggs was a passenger in a car with his 17-month-old child and his 18-year-old wife, Marjorie, who was driving. Their car was heaved into the river by the collapsing bridge. When Howard was pulled to safety by a rescue boat, he told the crew on board, "I just hope to God Marjorie and the kid got out okay." Their bodies were found in the car 6 weeks later.
Oh, that would be really hard to survive, like the survivor's guilt of things.
Yeah.
The car's in a tree.
They probably got thrown as it was coming down, you know?
That would be a terrifying ride down.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Hippie said, "That's crazy," is right. After it fell, there's photographs all inside the museum of the men in black everywhere. Dang. You can see a person down here.
Yeah.
State Trooper Rudy Odell, 31, may have been the first officer to respond to the disaster. Before the bridge collapsed, it shook violently, turning the deck over and sending dozens of cars and their passengers into the water. Are they saying it shook so bad that it flipped upside down?
Yeah, I think it, and that's probably how some of them ended up in trees, because it kind of just lunged them, you know?
Like an amusement ride of death.
Yeah.
Jeez. Hey, Nelcourt.
I could hear them hollering for help. I didn't know how many there were at the time, Odell recalled. There was absolutely nothing I could do. I was a long way out into the water.
Rescue barge.
Mm-hmm.
What's this pointing at right here? Is it a car or something underneath, maybe? I don't know.
Possibly. I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell what it's pointing at. Toby Treble says, "This reminds me of the Minneapolis bridge collapse in 2007. See, we all just need to stay off bridges. I'm telling you, they're terrifying. Terrifying."
Yeah, I was actually driving. I was a truck driver at that time, and I was on that bridge.
Oh.
And there's two of them. And I want to say it's 35. And we just crossed it. I think it was like within hours. And then we got called to go get another FedEx load to go back. But of course, that bridge was gone. We had to go on the other bridge. Well, it was interstate bridge over. And I was terrified. There, you could see the debris and still rescues happening.
You think they would have closed the other one down to check the safety of it if one...
Exactly. That was in Twin City. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Workers had to remove pieces of the bridge from atop the cars before they could bring the vehicles out of the water. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers leased 50-ton cranes to make the work easier, but the process was painfully slow. Hey, Hitman, how you doing? Thanks for coming in.
Mm-hmm. Odell's primary job was to tag victims found inside the cars with the locations and approximate time of their deaths before sending them to the morgue.
Well, I'm sure their deaths were all at the same time. Like,
Depending, I guess some could have drowned, at different times.
If it was slow, can you imagine if you were alive? This is a morbid thought, people. I'm sorry. My brain just does some morbid things sometimes. But what if they were like alive and watching other people get, like other cars get taken out, but they were stuck there? Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I was looking for cars down there. Police weren't attempting to identify the bodies at that point, but often could. The state police had received calls from people all over the United States concerned their relatives might have been on the bridge when it collapsed.
When one of those loved ones arrived home safely, Odell said the families often called back so the police could remove their names from the list of the missing. We never brought up a vehicle or a person that we didn't know was there before they came up. They pretty much recognized the vehicles or who was in them.
Well, I'm sure, like they said, everybody was calling too. Like if you knew your husband or somebody was coming home, I'm sure you'd call, be freaked out trying to find out if they found them yet. We have Justin and Christina's RV van life just popped in. Donald said, "Did you hear about the case of Bobby Greenlease? He was murdered by a bridge in 1953. People are always saying they seen a little boy by that bridge. Look up the case in 1953. We'll put that down and check it out.
Yes, indeed.
All right. It just looks like a disaster.
Yeah.
The Army Corps of Engineers crane brought up a car. Odell found a father and the man's young son. He had one of those little winter suits on, with the fur around the collar, he said. And I knew that little boy. I knew his mother. You don't get used to that.
Mm-mm.
I know firemen and police, they put their lives in danger all the time to go and save people. But I also respect them so much because they see so much tragedy, and I'm sure that a lot of that stays burned in their minds forever,
Yeah.
And they're heroes for all that they deal with.
Another rescuer, Bill McCormick, observed people hanging onto flotsam from the tractor trailers that had been on the bridge.
Should have had a weight limit. One tractor trailer, no cars.
Yeah.
We only have 2 I-beams. One tractor trailer, no cars. Jeez. That is a car. Guessing this is a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
And cars back then were super heavy duty made, like really
Yeah.
thick. I'm trying to hit play. I'm losing my mind. I was trying to hit play on my wrong screen.
Oh. In all, 31 vehicles went into the Ohio River that day, sending 64 people into its 44-degree waters. Those like Howard Boggs defied the odds. Of the 64 who went in, 46 died.
44 degrees. That's so cold. It couldn't even be on a summer's day. It had to be in the winter.
Yeah.
44-degree water.
It was in December during the holidays.
46 died. 64 went in. Wow. Bridge disaster toll may reach 46. Shocked PT Pleasant seeking dead. Loaded with cars, big something to Ohio collapses in river. Was he really shocked? I mean, I get it. It's a disaster, but if everybody knew the bridge was dangerous, the shocked part. It happened in December because the Mothman was a disgruntled elf, says Nomadic Hippie.
Okay.
Is this one mine?
Yeah.
Okay. The collapse remains the deadliest bridge disaster in United States history. President Lyndon Johnson released a statement saying all Americans were shocked by the cruel tragedy and loss of life, and assembled the task force on bridge safety to mount an investigation. I guess I'm having trouble with the shocked part when they built it with only 2 I-beams and didn't have this, like, they built it like
the cabling, you know.
But it's good that they came out with like safety precautions from it. Divers find 57 sunken vehicles near collapsed Ohio River span. 8 are dead. Toll could reach 80.
Forensic analysis was able to trace the problem to a small stress crack around 3 millimeters deep inside the bearing loop of the I-bar 330. The crack had grown around an I can't say that word.
Impurity.
Impurity in the steel, and had been gravitated by the elements and the natural movements of the I-bar along the pin over the 39 years of the bridge use.
So they didn't do safety checks on these bridges back then, I guess.
No.
Because if it had a crack and that was being aggravated, I guess you probably would have seen it if you had checked it, right?
I would think so. And they're saying from the elements, you know, basically it was just like rotting, you know?
Well, let's not do anything to check and make sure it's safe until everybody crashes to the ground. And then we'll be like, yep, it wasn't safe anymore. Oh, some stuff just makes you shake your head. 39 years. It was built crappy and it lasted 39 years and they didn't think to check it. The most alarming part of the conclusion was that there was no way for engineers or maintenance crews to have found the ruinous, sorry everyone, defect, save by taking apart the entire joint, which, since it was integral to the bridge structural integrity, would have been merely restating the problem. If ever a design was to blame for failure, this was it. So I guess they're saying, like, the way that it was designed, they wouldn't have been able to see the crack anyway.
And for them to find it, it's almost like they would have to take the bridge apart. And they weren't going to do that.
It's craziness. Is this the I-beam thing?
Yeah. See how it's almost like a bicycle chain where they lock into? Yeah, that's what it is.
Happy Place said, bridge safety inspections began because of this bridge collapse. Yeah, you think that that's something they probably should have thought about prior. Like the minute that people decide to start building bridges, it should have been like, these have to be checked once a month or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess people didn't think about safety that much back then. That does look like a bicycle chain, though. Mine?
I think it's mine.
Okay.
Yeah. Silver Bridge's legacy is especially pronounced in being the incentive for the National Bridge Inspection Standards. These guidelines, still in use today, require all public bridges containing a 20-foot plus span to be examined every 2 years.
Every 2 years? What about once a month? Every 2 years? Do you know how much can happen in 2 years span? That's crazy.
What just happened? Basically.
Yeah, I mean, you could check it, and then a month later, it's got something wrong with it, and that's it, folks. I can't believe it's every 2 years. I thought it was more often than that on bridges. That's crazy. Tommy Travel said, I know another bridge that was also very dangerous. It never killed anyone, but did commit a whole bunch of armed bank robberies south of the Twin Cities. All right. If they are determined a higher risk bridge, they must continue to be examined more frequently, as often as monthly or more until they can be repaired. Wait, so they're broken and they only get checked once a month or so? If they're broken, shut them down. The story is making me sweat. It's scaring me. Other bridges in the wake of the collapse were examined and retrofitted with better parts. And Silver Bridge's sister bridge in nearby St. Mary, West Virginia, was decommissioned shortly after 1971. Seriously, this is scaring me that they don't check bridges that often.
You're never going to want to go across a bridge.
No, and I got to, on the 30th, I'll be driving across that bridge that scares the crap out of me. Ohio River. There's the Men in Black.
It's somewhere over there, the Ohio River.
If he was saying they had Men in Black, here's two.
Yeah.
And then again, they had black and white photos then, so I don't know. Yeah. There's people down here too.
Yeah, that's towards your river.
Is it mine? Yours.
It's mine, yeah. Yet for all the heavy documentation, one colorful theory suggests as a cause of the bridge collapse a bit of West Virginia folklore. In 1970, the author John Keel popularized a legend that the Mothman, sightings of whom began in 1966, was seen on the bridge near the time of the accident, though whether as a warning or the cause is uncertain.
Well, Hippie said there's actual Men in Black photos, though. I mean, actual real Men in Black. That's because they were in charge of keeping track of the Mothman, and they let him out of his cage. My guess.
Your guess.
Hey, Crazy Shepherd and Three Souls Paranormal. Welcome in. This historical event of the Silver Bridge collapse impacted the Mothman urban legend. With a town busy grieving and mourning their loved ones, they no longer gave their attention to the creature sightings. The Mothman seemed to vanish. There were no more sightings at the time. Hey, Oracles and Beyond. And that just looks devastating. Yeah. Donald said, do you know of any old Civil War bridges not used anymore? No, but the bridge that terrifies me is right next to Jefferson Barracks, which is a military hospital. So that bridge has been around for quite some time.
With all the sightings happening from around November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967, and then suddenly stopping, it seems as if it was all building towards the event.
Mothman came and brought death to the town?
Well, it's kind of crazy that they were all dreaming. A majority of people there were dreaming of something happening, dealing with water.
Yeah, the whole town dreaming of Christmas presents and water, and that's weird. A couple of sightings of Mothman were said to have occurred near the bridge before the incident. Rumors eventually spread that the bridge collapse was connected to Mothman in some way, and that he could have been a warning or a dark premonition. I think the dreams were dark premonitions. Crazy Shepherd said, there's one bridge in Kentucky that was built in 1930s. It's not used anymore except running trains. Nomadic Hippie says, there's some old military bunkers where there was explosives held at the end of town out in the woods, and they say the Mothman lives out there now. Is he friendly, Hippie? Do you think he's friendly or evil? You know more about Mothman than anybody else I know, so tell me, what you think? If I seen a Mothman, I'm out. I might shove somebody else down and feed them to the Mothman while I take off running. Oracles and Beyond said, never heard of this before. These people just, like, the bridge fell. You really want to stand on it? It doesn't seem like it's too sturdy.
I know. They're all over the place. What if, pieces would start crumbling beneath you or on top of you?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that safe. And there's 4 or 5 people down here. There's 3 up here. This guy's hard to see, but there's a guy here, and a guy here. Hippie says, I don't know if he's evil or not, but most of the store owners now down the street of that town call their stores bunkers. Just got an email saying we have access to Lawrence Frick Sanitarium here in Crescent, Pennsylvania. Oh, that's cool. Three Souls Paranormal.
Cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. All right. Oh, wrong screen again.
Yeah.
The mouse used to not move from that screen to this screen when I was on full screen. But it's all of a sudden doing it now. Hey, Captain Jack. How you doing?
Hey, Captain Jack.
And I did so much talking, I don't remember again whose turn it is. I think it's yours.
This was the beginning of the Mothman being associated as a omen of doom. Mothman eventually began being reported seen all over the world before tragedy struck, and the creature went from small town folklore to global monster icon.
Oh, so they just started making him evil. He may not have been evil, but they sure decided he's evil.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look scary. That looks funny. A giant bat with human legs. And be like, you be my friend? Now, if he was hairy, like a hairy one, and he had human legs, toes, and everything, be like, gotta go. All right. The Silver Bridge was later replaced by the Silver Memorial Bridge, which was completed in 1969. Yeah, I don't think I'm driving on that one either. Mothman be living up at the top of it. Wait to take it down. Hitch Up and Toe said, I can see him. Silver Memorial Bridge between can't pronounce it, guys. Sorry. Between Ohio and Henderson, West Virginia. That's a good way. The Silver Bridge disaster. Captain Jack said, MelNetteLiving and whomever, a bit of an awakening tonight in a rather sad way, but I will survive. Oh, big hugs, Captain Jack.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great story. I mean, a sad and tragic story, but it certainly scared me. I'm now terrified.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they changed the rules and started making it where they check the bridges, but I certainly think they should be checking them more often than every 2 years.
And the ones that they do are the ones that are having problems. So how do you know the other bridges aren't if you're inspecting them every 2 years?
To me, it's like if a bridge is having problems, shut it down. Like, shut it down and have crews come in and fix it. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't risk, because the amount of traffic that drives on the roads these days is huge. So I just don't understand why they would risk that many lives if they know there's something wrong with the bridge.
Yeah. And it's true what the Happy Place Camping saying is probably don't have the manpower or funds to check more often. That there's a lot of bridges, because if you just drive on the roads suck. Yeah, they're not even doing anything with the roads, and then bridges also.
Yeah, I would think though that like bridges would come before road maintenance and stuff because of things like this, but that's just my thought process. Tink says, got my wife a brand new metal detector for Christmas. So on Christmas Day, I took her to a very remote place to see if she liked detecting. I'm heading back there tomorrow to see how she got on. Did you leave her out there?
Yeah.
I think Illinois has had the worst roads I've ever driven on.
Louisiana's pretty bad too.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
That's how Illinois is. It's like you'll have a 1 mile
Really?
stretch that'll be kind of smooth because they just redid the 1 mile stretch, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're for another 30 miles. Then they have a 1 mile smooth stretch. It's like just enough to make you not nauseous, and then right back into the nauseous.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So, do you have an idea what we're going to do for next Sunday yet?
No.
Okay. Well, I found one that I'm hoping that Nette looks into.
I think that's pretty good. I did get it in, but I haven't looked at it. But yeah, I'm gonna start researching, and I'm always excited because I don't know what I'm gonna do, and then the research is so fascinating, and I'm like, well, this is gonna be pretty good. So
I watched a little bit
forward
today on the place called Tranquil Sanitarium, and it's a whole town in Canada where they would send people that had tuberculosis, and it's a ghost town now. So I'm excited about that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea. Happy place. Tranquil Sanitarium, I think is what it's called. It's in Canada.
Yeah.
So
I think it was a pretty good story. I appreciate Hippie suggesting it.
Yeah. I love looking into the stuff that everybody suggests because a lot of them I haven't even heard of. Like I didn't know.
I've never heard of this. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting. Justin and Christina's RV van life. Have you ever heard of the Tranquil Sanatorium? Canada's pretty big, so maybe not. But
yeah.
Happy Place said, I knew about this one, but never heard of Tranquil. Well, we have K&R Destinations on tonight. Jerry Holly going to be on tonight?
Yes, he's going to be on tonight.
All right, then we got Jerry Holly. Justin said, no, sorry, never heard of it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if Box Van D's on. I didn't see her thumbnail.
Yeah, I think she just does randoms live now, BB. I don't think she's on.
Yeah, I think it was last week, though, she came on. Okay, Dee was on this morning. Last week, she did come on right after I was on.
Okay.
See what Hippie's sending me here. See if it has anything to do with our story. Oh, here we go. It's Hippie with the Mothman statue. Mothman. That looks like a butterfly with a human body. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. I love Sundays. These are my favorite days of the week. I get on here with Nette, get to hang out with all of you all. I love it. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out K&R and Jerry Holly and anyone else that happens to be live tonight that I missed. Wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.